Alrighty, hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Cryptic Coil, not Cryptic Lovecraft. For those of you who don't know me, when I first started this channel, I was using the username Cryptic Lovecraft, but it just didn't really feel right, so I decided I was going to change it. And I couldn't really figure out what to change it to, and so in homage to one of my favorite bands, Lacuna Coil, I decided to name myself Cryptic Coil. Alrighty, so with that being out of the way, let me first share an announcement and a shout out, then I will get into the book haul. Alright, so the announcement is that I just got back from vacation, and while I was on vacation, I brought some books with me. I read this book while I was on vacation at the airport. R.L. Stein's book, The New Girl, the first in the Fear Street series. I'm going to do a review on this very soon. I just need to jot down some notes and whatnot. And it just so happened that I also made a new friend on YouTube. Some of you may be familiar with his channel, The Shady Side Library. The Shady Side Library just yesterday put out a review of The New Girl, and I was going to do it yesterday as well, but I was like, no, I'll give it a couple extra days, because, I mean, I didn't want to, like, try to, you know, it just didn't feel right, is pretty much what it boils down to. But yeah, Shady Side Library, great video yesterday, man, really enjoyed it. It just so happens that I just read this too. So moving on, so yeah, so that's the announcement. There will be a review coming very shortly on Fear Street's The New Girl. I also started reading another book. I'm about halfway through, and the book that I'm currently reading, and I hope to be done by tomorrow, is Lois Duncan's Stranger with My Face. I am really enjoying this book, very, very much so. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's get into the book haul. All right, so if you watched my last video, you know that I went to Barnes and Noble and I purchased this beautiful hardback edition of Stephen King's The Shining. Obviously, it's a reprint. Let's see, when was it reprinted? Let me look at the date on it. So it says 1977. That's weird. Okay, when was this reprinted? Really? It doesn't give like a modern. It doesn't say when this was reprinted. That's really bizarre. Wow. Okay, so the clock is ticking, so I guess I'll... That's wild. Okay. All right, so it doesn't say when this was reprinted, but it was in recent years, if not this year, last year, or the year before. I would say no more than 5 years ago. All right. Well, the reason why I bought that one was because I wanted this one. Because growing up, my dad had a copy of this. He had the same version on the bookshelf. Okay, my dad doesn't read hard copies anymore. He has a Kindle, and he says that he'll never read a hard copy again. So he actually gave me his Stephen King hardback book collection, and I kept the ones that I wanted, and I sold the ones that I didn't want. Now, I would have kept this had he given it to me, but we don't know whatever happened to his. He had a copy of Skeleton Crew when I was a kid. He gave it to a friend, and I think that he also loaned a couple out and never got them back. I suspect that's what happened, but I had been holding out for the last couple years. I was hoping to find Stephen King's The Shining, the first edition, at a thrift store, and I just never found one. And then last time I hit up Barnes & Noble, I bought this, and then just the day before yesterday, I went to a thrift store and I found it. It's like, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. So, and this thing is like in perfect condition. The only thing wrong with it is I took off the thrift store sticker price tag, and some of the paint from the dust jacket kind of came off with it. But I mean, you know, it's a 1977 edition. I'm pretty sure it's the first edition. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad I have it. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the book haul. Okay, so I found another one by Alan Zulo called Totally Haunted Kids. I also have like haunted pets and haunted schools and haunted teachers. I don't really, I'm not really into it because it says advertises it as true stories, and I don't really believe in the supernatural. So when they try telling me that this stuff is the truth, I get turned off right away. So I'm probably gonna, you know, eventually lot up the books that I don't want for, you know, collection purposes or anything like that, and sell them. And I'm gonna include these Alan Zulo books in that lot. Speaking of which, I found another copy at a thrift store of M.T. Coffin's Spine Tinglers, book number, I want to say it's book number 2 in the series. Yeah, Billy Baker's Dog Won't Stay Buried. I refuse to read this one because I know it's going to tug at my heartstrings in the worst way, the most uncomfortable way. But it was cool that I found a copy at a thrift store. And it's cool that I have a backup copy. All right, so I found some R.L. Stine Goosebumps books this week. I've just been continuously hitting up thrift stores. So one that I found was Goosebumps Most Wanted. This is book number 6 in the series, and it's called Creature Teacher, The Final Exam. So that was interesting. I also found book number 2 in the series, Son of Slappy, which is apparently now a major motion picture. I haven't seen it. I did see one with Jack Black. That one was cool. I also found one in the Goosebumps Series 2000, and this one is called Earth Geeks Must Go. By the time this came out, I mean, I was kind of a little over the Goosebumps phase of my life, and now I'm back into it for the nostalgia and all that. But yeah, it's cool that I have this one. I can tell that this thing, it was owned by a teacher previously. All right. I'm really glad that I finally found a copy of Welcome to Dead House. Okay, stupid me found a bunch of Goosebumps books at thrift stores over the last couple of years. And I picked them up for absolutely nothing. I mean, less than, you see that? The sticker tag reads $129. I found these at like at a Bins Goodwill, or I found a bunch of my Goosebumps books at like the Bins. For those of you that don't know, Goodwill has these stores called clearance centers, and or clearance outlets. And what they do is they have these big black bins, and you just dig through the bins. You never know what you're going to find. You throw whatever you want in your bag or in your basket, and you pay by the pound. And they charge different prices depending on what city you live in. Where I live, I mean, it's like less than $1. And I found a bunch of Goosebumps books, man. And I gave them all away to coworkers because I guess I wanted them to like me or something. I don't know why I did it. I want to kick myself in the butt now. So I'm slowly rebuilding my Goosebumps collection, and I'm really glad that I found this copy of Welcome to Dead House because this is where it all began for me. Someone wrote their name on the inside of the cover. It's like, why? Why do people do that? I don't think that this one says first Scholastic printing, July 1992. I was under the impression that this was not a first printing because it has number 1 on the spine. Cameron Chaney said that his was a first edition because it does not have a number on the spine. So I don't know, but if I ever find that version that doesn't have the number on the side, I'll keep that one, and that will be my collector's copy, and this will be my reading copy because I need to reread it. That book right there is where my love for Goosebumps and reading in general really came from. I bought it from the Scholastic Book Fair in 3rd grade. Okay, I also found this version of The Blob That Ate Everyone. Let me just peel off this sticker. It's really annoying me. These thrift store stickers just get on my nerves. The Blob That Ate Everyone. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like things about like big blobs. They just don't interest me. I'm just buying it for the I just bought it for the collection. I'm glad I found it. I think that's a reprint anyway. And then I found this version, this is Be Careful What You Wish For. It's number 12 in the series. I never had this one as a kid. I don't know if I had it with the collection that I had that I gave away a few years ago. I'm still annoyed. All right, so I found some Caroline B. Cooney books today. So I found The Terrorist, and I'm not sure what this one's about, so I'm going to read you the summary on the back real quick. There is not a tagline on the front. So in the back, this is what it says. Everyone is a suspect. When her 11-year-old brother is killed by a package bomb in the London subway, Laura's life is changed forever. She now has only one interest: revenge. Everyone she knows is a suspect in Billy's murder, including her friends. Perhaps one of them knows the answers to the questions Laura can't stop asking. Who would want to kill Billy Williams, and who will be their next victim? Okay, that actually sounds great. I know I've been a little harsh on Caroline B. Cooney. I've picked up a few of her books in some of my most recent book haul videos, and there were some that I just wasn't interested in because I'm looking for horror, but I love psycho thriller too. Okay, I also found The Face on the Milk Carton, and I'm so glad I did. Okay, I loved this book as a kid. I read it in 7th grade. I saw the movie. I was just ecstatic to find this today. I've been hunting for this one for months. I've been wanting to, ever since I started doing the BookTube, SpookTube thing, hoping to reacquire this, and I finally did today, and I'm just so happy. I've never really reread a book before. This one right here is going to be one of my first exceptions. I loved that book. Okay, so I also happened to find Whatever Happened to Janie. Now, there's also another one in the series called The Voice on the Radio. I did not find that one today, but I'll be hunting for that one as well. And lastly, from Caroline B. Cooney, I found Hush Little Baby. Okay, and I haven't read the back yet, so the title is Hush Little Baby, and the tagline on the front is Don't Say a Word. And there's a baby in a baby carrier on the cover, and it looks it looks sketchy. So let's read the back and see what this is about. When a baby is thrust into Kit Innes's arms, she is astounded. At first, Kit is sure that Dusty, her ex-stepmother, will come back for it, but she soon realizes that she is wrong. Dusty is gone, and Kit is left with only questions. Whose baby is this? Who is the mother? Who is the father? And most important of all, why is it here with me? Kit's usually calm and measured world is turned upside down. When Dusty came to Kit's house that day, she not only thrust a baby into her arms, but all the fear and danger that came with it. Now it's up to Kit to save herself and the baby from the crazy, desperate people who are after it. I mean, sounds interesting. And it's probably not going to go at the top of the TBR list, but I mean, I guess. And I found another book by Carol Ellis, not Caroline B. Cooney, but Carol Ellis. Okay, this book is called Silent Witness, and if you look at the cover, there's kind of a sketchy, black glove-clad hand and a little girl or a young girl, and she looks like she's frightened. So the tagline is "Watch if you dare." Now let's see what this one's about. America's Deadliest Home Video. When Lucy Monroe's friend, Alan, dies, his mother sadly gives her some of his belongings, a few CDs, a couple of posters, a videotape. Lucy had seen Alan making videos of his friends, but this one is different. It reveals a crime, a deadly crime. Now that Alan isn't alive, the tape is the only witness, and someone will do anything to make sure Lucy never sees it. Okay, so that sounds like a pretty good book. I also picked up this Sweet Valley thriller, and the title is R for Revenge. I never read a Sweet Valley book in my life. I think I saw the TV show a couple of times in the 90s or early 2000s. I just bought it because I saw Cameron Chaney had them. I picked up this biography of Martin Luther King. It's called I Am Martin Luther King. I think I have an autobiography of his. I haven't read it yet, but so that's cool to have. I don't believe that I have a hardback copy of Anne Rice's Tale of the Body Thief, but some of the books that I have of her is in hardback. I also have in paperback, so I went ahead and picked up a paperback copy because I know I didn't have one already. Did I? Nope. Yes, I do. Okay, now I have two paperback copies. All right, I picked up this Power Ranger book. I used to read these in third grade too, and I was like fanatical about the show. Megazord to the rescue. So really, I want to find a few more. Yeah. Okay. I also picked up these copies of The Adventures of the Bailey School Kids. I My younger brother used to buy these books from the Scholastic Book Fair, and he wasn't much of a reader, but my parents would always give him money for the Scholastic Book Fair, and he would buy these books, and I used to read them to him, and I really enjoyed it for myself as well. So I found two copies of book number 1 in the series, Vampires Don't Wear Polka Dots. I also found the Bailey School Kids joke book. The jokes in this book are so bad, but like so bad that they're awesome. Like my favorite one that I remember was what is a vampire's favorite fruit? A nectarine. Love it. Okay, there's also another book that I have of the Bailey School Kids I found today, and it's called Santa Claus Doesn't Mop Floors. And that's kind of the thing about these books, like Vampires Don't Wear Polka Dots, Santa Claus Doesn't Mop Floors, book number 23, Angels Don't Know Karate. The kids in this Bailey School Kids series, they always suspect that the teachers and the grown-ups in their town, that they're all like some kind of supernatural creature, like Mrs. Jeepers in book number 1. Like they suspect that she's a vampire and a witch, and then she has a brother who substitute taught for them one time. His name was Mr. Drake, and they suspected he was Dracula, and his book was called Dracula Doesn't Drink Pink Lemonade, which I really want to find a copy of that one. I was ecstatic to find these. All right, and then I picked up a number of Apple paperbacks. Let's see. Okay, so first I'm gonna show you my Betty Ren Rights. So I found the Pike River Phantom, and I found the Dollhouse Murders. Okay, so I cannot read the back of the Pike River Phantom because there's like whiteout or paint or something kind of obscuring the the summary on the back, but I can read you the Dollhouse Murders. Okay, so let's look at the cover. All right, so just looking at the cover, I haven't read the back yet, but I automatically had my assumptions when I saw the cover. All right, so there's a young lady. She's clearly in an attic. You can see the angled ceiling boards up here. Okay, and she's looking at this realistic looking dollhouse. Okay, so I'm guessing that the dollhouse is a replica of the house that she's living in or that she just moved into or something of that nature. Okay, so and the book is called The Dollhouse Murders. It's a Betty Ren Rights. So what secret does the dollhouse hold? That is the tagline, and the summary on back reads, "The old dollhouse is trying to tell Amy something. Amy is fascinated by the old dollhouse she finds in the attic. It looks exactly like the house she's staying in with her aunt, down to the tiniest detail." Okay. All right, so I'll pat myself on the back for channeling my inner Captain Obvious. All right. But strange things seem to happen in the dollhouse, things Amy can't explain. Dolls move from one room to another when there's no one there to move them. Doors open and close by themselves, and when Amy goes up to the attic in the middle of the night, the dollhouse is filled with a ghostly light. Amy knows the dolls are trying to tell her something, but she's terrified to find out what. I guess I would be too. Could their movements be connected to the unsolved mysteries that happened years before? All right, that's interesting. And then someone wrote their name on the inside as well. And the copyright date on this is 1983. The Pike River Phantom. So I was really excited to collect these Betty Ren Rights because when I was in 3rd grade, I read in 2nd grade, the book that I bought from the Scholastic Book Fair was called The Ghost of Ernie P. And I remember having enjoyed that book, but I'm on the lookout for that one again. And that was also Betty Ren Rights, so it's nice to, have more of her books in my collection. All right. I also picked up this one by Sam McBratney, and I'd never heard of it. It was just kind of an impulse buy. They had it at the thrift store that I went to, and it's called The Ghosts of Hungry House Lane. And there's all these ghosts floating about, and they look really cool and interesting. There's a dog. There's a can of spray paint in the little girl's hand. And, it just looks interesting. So let's read the summary on the back. They aren't afraid of those kids. Nice ghosts, peaceful ghosts, ordinary happy ghosts. That's what the 3 ghosts of Hungry House Lane are. Until the sweet children, or until the horrible sweet children move in. So Sweet is their last name. But what can the ghosts do when the nasty sweet kids sell people ghost watching tickets? When the beastly brats chase them with cameras, flashlights, and paint? When the little monsters refuse to listen to ghostly reason? What any respectable ghost would do, haunt them. But what if it doesn't work? Will the ghosts of Hungry House Lane ever have a peaceful home again? All right, so that sounds kind of interesting, different. Excuse me. Then I found this one, Under the Mummy's Spell by Kate McMullen, and the tagline is just forever. I just picked it up because they had it at the thrift store. It's vintage horror. I've never been crazy about mummies. The copyright date on this one is 1992. What was the copyright date on The Ghosts of Hungry House Lane again? 1988 or 1989. Wow. Okay, so this is definitely vintage. That's vintage, baby. Okay. And I found this other Apple paperback, Into the Dark by Nicholas Wilde. Don't Go Alone. And I'd never heard of this one either. So Don't Go Alone. And this is a really cool cover. I mean, two kids standing on the beach at night looking at the moon as the moon, is just past the horizon of the water. Really cool cover. So the summary on back reads, "Sometimes you can see better in the dark. Matthew is spending his vacation at the shore. There's not much to do there, but it's better than being back at school where he doesn't have any real friends. Then he meets Rolly. There are lots of things to do, like sneaking off to the cemetery or exploring the scary old mansion on the edge of town. But Rolly has a secret, and Matthew is in danger." Okay, so that sounds pretty good. I mean, this sounds like a pretty good book right there. I picked up this book too by Madge Hara because I've met this author before. She did some speaking event when I was a kid. She was promoting her book for adults called Mirror of Darkness. And I found a few of her books at a thrift store. This was the only one I picked up because it was kind of horror. And so it looks like there's a ghost sitting on a couch and a portrait of the ghost right above where she's sitting. And there's a little girl in a nightgown that looks kind of similar to the ghost. I'm guessing the ghost is an ancestor. And the tagline on the front reads, "There were secrets to hear if she dared to listen." So let me show you the cover real quick. See the ghost, the portrait of the ghost, the little girl. There's kind of a resemblance. I mean, they have that short little bob haircut. So let's read the back. "One room in the old house was filled with dolls. It gave me a creepy feeling, all those eyes staring. Then I saw her in the hallway and my breath froze in my throat. Patty, the girl in the portrait, the one who looked just like me. I couldn't move. I couldn't yell. I just stood there, stuck to the floor with my heart hammering in my chest. Patty didn't move either. She stared straight ahead, her hands held stiffly in front of her. Slowly I moved forward a little and touched her hand. It was cold and slick. Plastic. A doll? Boy, had she scared me. I laughed with relief. But just when Patty turned her head and looked me straight in the eyes, 'Help me,' she whispered. 'Help me.'" Yeah, it's kind of creepy. All right, so I just have a couple more. So I used to read these Wayside Schools Falling Down books because, again, my younger brother used to get them from the Scholastic Book Fair. I was always getting, The Ghost of Ernie P. and Goosebumps and Fear Streets and what have you. My younger brother got the Bailey School Kids and Wayside Schools Falling Down. So I also picked up these two ghost story books. This one is an Apple paperback, and this one is called Famous Ghost Stories. So I picked those up because I recognize them from my childhood. I don't believe I owned either one of those, but I know I've seen them before. I think that in both cases I had a teacher or a couple different teachers who had one or the other in the classroom on the class bookshelf. And the last book that I picked up was Bruce Coville's Book of Monsters, Tale to Give You the Creeps, featuring My Little Brother is a Monster by Bruce Coville, and other monster stories by Jane Yolen, Laura Sims, John Barnes, and many more. And so that's what the cover looks like. And the only Bruce Coville book that I ever read was Into the Land of the Unicorns. We read it as a class in 4th grade, but I had a buddy. I think he was either in my 3rd or 4th grade class. He was as into Bruce Coville as I was into R.L. Stine and later Christopher Pike. So there was a little bit of nostalgia here, so I went ahead and picked it up. All right, thank you for hanging in there. That was a half-hour-long video, but I hope it was worth your while. I hope you felt entertained. Let me know what you thought of the book haul in my video, and please don't forget to be on the lookout for a very soon coming book review of R.L. Stine's The New Girl, as well as a review of Lois Duncan's Stranger with My Face coming in the near future. Okay, so there's R.L. Stine's The New Girl and Lois Duncan's Stranger with My Face. All right, thank you guys for watching. Horns up, peace out.